The magpie as teacher. Everyone living in the forest knows that magpies build the most beautiful and strongest of nests. A long, long time ago, high up in the tallest mountains along the Lee River stood a forest. One day, many birds in the forest gathered together to ask the magpie for advice on how to build a nest. The diligent magpie agreed to show the others. The most important part of building a nest, she said, is patience. With patience, you can do anything. All the birds collected around and listened and watched quietly as she picked up a mound of mud and pressed it together to form what looked like a big fat pancake. The magpie patted it carefully, and then she proceeded to make a depression in the middle. Before she could continue, a thrush suddenly cried, "I know how to build a nest. I never thought it would be so easy." With that, the thrush flew to a neighboring tree and began making a nest with mud exactly as the magpie had done. But when it was complete, it looked very ugly. Unruffled by the rush, the magpie kept working on her nest. Next, she wove small twigs around the edge. As she tucked it in the last tendril, a black crow blared out, "Now I know how to build a nest." Away he flew to build his own. When the birds looked up, indeed, he had built his of mud and small branches and placed on the edge, but the nest was rough-looking, the twigs poking out in every direction. The magpie continued patiently. She brought more mud and put it over the twigs and pressed it down with her beak to make a smooth rim. After that, she placed grass clippings over the mud. Just as she tapped the final piece of grass into place to form what appeared to be a velvet green carpet, there was a shriek from the sparrow. "I've learned how! I've learned how!" shouted the sparrow. Soon the birds looked up to see the sparrow in a nearby tree pulling together a nest of grass, but it looked crude and unstable. Finally, the magpie found some fluffy moss, and then she pulled soft down feathers from her underbelly. Carefully, she placed these in the nest and said, "Now it is complete." The eagle and the swallow were the only two birds left to hear her words. They had watched the entire time and agreed that was the most amazing nest. Even though the eagle had stayed for the whole procedure and remembered the complete process, he was too lazy to try. That is why this day eagles do not build nests in trees. Only the swallow listens, watched, and put into practice the lessons of the magpie, including the most important one, the lessons of patience.